Bible underneath my right hand, I made it out of tight jams. Guns all on my nightstand, my life should be on Vice land. My fingertips to hold the marijuana aroma. High school, I went to school high, still got my diploma. He got riddled and left alone for some Skittles in Arizona. The same time a man dies by his own for a pair of Jordan. It's crazy how we living, we all misguided children. Niggas out here getting got, trying to figure out how to get it. We the ones that's not afraid to let the hammers off. The same ones that feed the homeless with the cameras off. The life I'm living kinda hard to get a handle on, but I'm blessed and God knows I can't be mad at all.
I don't really know Alberto, but I met him in the studio a couple months back, and I instantly knew this is somebody that I not only wanted to work with, but wanted to get to know personally. And our two agencies have worked on a couple film projects since then, and he's just an all-around really cool guy, military vet, and just has a really awesome, unique perspective on life, and perfect guy to sit down and talk to. Yo, this is Uncreative Radio. I am so excited to be with Alberto, CEO of Stinghouse. Man, thank you so much for coming on, bud.
Thank you for having me here.
We are streaming this live to Facebook now. Mark, are we going live to Facebook? Is that the thing?
We are live right now, brother.
Oh, wow, live on Facebook. So give a big shout out to Stinghouse.
Yes.
Christy, Casey, and the Vibe.
And the Vibe and the whole squad.
Yo, man, thanks for coming to hang.
Listen, you know what? I felt like we were destined to do this from the moment I met you.
Yeah, no, it was true because when we were hanging out, when you came to the studio, I was like, this guy gets it. And then you were sharing just war stories. And I was like, and there's nothing that will like bond creatives together more than just like someone that's been through the fire.
That's exactly right. And even on set, man, when, you know, every time that we had a break and we were talking like the hustle.
Yeah, man. I think, what do you think it is? Like how do you've seen the opposite, right? You've seen like people that hustle and then you've seen people that don't. What is it? What do you think the breakdown is? Like how are you motivated? And what do you think it is for people that, what's going through people's minds?
The distance between your actions and being able to eat.
Interesting.
Impacts the hustle.
Interesting.
Right. And
okay.
So if the relationship is pretty binary, like you eat what you kill.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna hustle every day.
But if you don't eat what you kill, there's some people that have never done that.
Right. And so it's interesting, you know, there's no shortage of people that have ideas all day, right? People slanging ideas all day
Absolutely.
long. But when you have to like sit down with the Excel spreadsheet at the end of the day,
right,
and try to figure out how is Excel going to account?
How can you take what is in your brain and then put it in the spreadsheet to make it work
into a business context?
Right. You think it's a mindset? Yeah,
I think it's a mindset.
Do you think it's an age thing? Do you hire young people over there?
Oh, here we go. See, I've seen some of these shows.
Yeah.
and I know you go off on this piece.
I feel like it's different.
It is different.
Well, I think they're diamonds in the rough. Like we work with millennials here. Like there's some 20-year-olds I can tell you that are like, yo, they grind.
Yeah.
Like this dude's a hustler. Like he'll go off on you.
Before we went live, I said, yo, was that the dude that was on the shoot?
Yeah.
You know, in DC and the different things. And I know he hustles.
So you'll find
you'll
find a diamond in the rough, but I also feel like the stereotype is kind of true.
Right, and so a lot of stereotypes are rooted in some semblance of truth at some point in time. And,
yes,
and that's how it became popular, right?
Chicken is great. I mean, it's just.
But I think that it's popular and it's easy to go down that rabbit hole.
Right,
and I've done it.
Right,
I'm tempted to do it right now.
Sure.
I say because the millennials and the generational component and so on and so forth, but. You know, as you know, at Stinghouse, we do a fair amount of work with organizations that have that education is the reason they exist.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, you know, in addition to the people who work at the shop, the clients are in the space of educating young minds and young people.
Yeah.
And so I'm in that ecosystem on a pretty consistent basis. And
so how do you feel, what's the state of the union then? What's the state of our students that you're seeing kind of, because you're working with different colleges across the nation. So what do you feel like the state of our next generation is?
Yeah. And I understand that like, the lens by which I'm interacting with these people is unique.
Sure.
In that we're working with that particular vertical on a repeat basis. I'm here to tell you, man, you know, I see a lot of impressive young people that sober me up and
That's
say,
good.
okay, it's not all lost.
That's good. That's good.
It's not all lost.
So it's interesting because you're looking at it from like an academic standpoint and from like the campus standpoint. Yeah. I'm looking at it from like an Instagram standpoint and what I see. And so I think those things are clash and they're different. But that's good that you see some hope.
Yeah, that there is, and I guess I don't know if you know the old Billy Joel songs. Now I'm really dating myself. Billy Joel, I just dropped Billy Joel on this.
Dropped it.
But
the piano man.
Yeah, the song, like we didn't start the fire, right?
Right.
And what the
whole
point
always
is,
burning.
It was always burning, and it's the popular thing is always to blame. Just the next generation doesn't get it.
Yeah.
The next gen, because back in our day.
Well, I think there's a lot of bad eggs in Gen X in our generation, and you still got some, 52-year-old bartenders, so that, that just kind of didn't hit it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just find like I would love to. I think in the creative industry, from what I've seen, it's like you see a lot of people that are looking for the fast track to get to something. Yeah. And I like when I see people that are willing to like grind and put it in, because that I feel like will, outdo and stand the test of time.
Yeah. It's funny that we're having this conversation because I feel like I'm constantly having this conversation. Maybe this is why the universe brought us here right now.
Yeah.
So my thing is this, right? So I was in the military. I was in the Air Force. My son's in the Air Force right now.
How old's your son?
He's 22.
All right. He's in it.
All right, he's in it.
Right now.
Right now.
That's so crazy, man. Where is he? Where is he right now?
He's in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Come on.
Shout out to my son in Biloxi, Mississippi. And, there are 2 steps to becoming an airman.
Yeah.
Basic training. Everybody got to go through basic training.
Right.
Before we teach you a skill.
You're going through here.
You're going to learn what it is to be a military person.
Right.
And if you get past that, then we're going to teach you how to do something.
Right. Then we'll teach you about planes. Right.
In the civilian context, the reward is learning how to do something.
Right.
But what we skip is, where do we learn to become a professional?
Right.
When does that happen?
What do you think of that is? Do you believe in higher education?
I believe in higher education, but
Did you go to college?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
I went to FIU. Man.
All right. I think you told me that. That's right. I think you told me that.
Yeah. A 2-time offender there, proud graduate 2 times over. I went to Mercy College in New York as well. And so, higher ed is my thing, but that's not the only thing. So, to kind of get back to your point, I value more the hustle piece.
Yeah.
The professionalism piece.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, because higher ed is not for everybody.
Yeah. I feel like higher ed, though, does something like, because I guess as a business owner, you're constantly trying to figure out, like, me and my GM, Joe, my brother, we're constantly just thinking about how do you put the piece together to hire the right people? And you're like looking at age and you're looking at skill and you're looking at, did they go to college? But this college piece always has a thing that like for example, we hired a guy that was like really good, just a hustler and just like, I'll just be here till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
But like, I can't write an email to save my life. You know what I mean, though? So, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to piece the administrative part of it together at all.
Yeah.
And then you see folks quite the opposite that went to college are like, yo, I know how to do this. I know how to like use my GPS. I've had to be on my own. I've had to figure that. And you see that. And so it's almost like you're trying to put a balance of like those things together. And it's a little difficult.
It is difficult, right? But those who do get the market reward.
Yeah.
Right? Like to the extent you do find those people,
right.
They tend to move faster.
Yeah.
Right? They may grow faster.
Yeah.
And then when you check in 5-10 years later, they're in a spot that rewards them for being able to balance those 2 things, right? The hard skill set, the soft skills, the ability to use technology because no one can escape that. But, can you put them in front of clients?
Yeah. That's a big deal. Like, can people communicate with other people and talk with other people and get people to understand a vision or what they're trying to say?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the one thing that I don't think anything is to blame. I think it's more of like, this is where we are in the universe right now. We've got technology out the wazoo more than we ever have, which is teaching us to be down here instead of up here. Yeah. And so that kind of tells us that this becomes more comfortable. I just had a guy the other day who was like, yo, man, I just feel more comfortable like texting you. I'm like, okay, or I'm sitting 3 feet away from you.
Or that.
Or whatever. But it's like, I feel better if I'm just here or just talking to you, which is right there, but through this.
Yeah. So the social emotional intelligence component, right, of like what we're talking about, you kind of like put some higher ed language on that, right?
Yeah.
Is, the ability to effectively, look you eyeball to eyeball,
Right.
Have an objective to my communication. What am I trying to do right now?
Right.
Am I trying to persuade you?
Yeah.
Am I just trying to inform you?
Right.
Am I trying to make you laugh? Like thinking.
But you learn that when you're in college and like you got to present in front of the class and I'm going to be grading you and blah, blah, blah. And then you got to do this thing. You learn that stuff in school.
Right, but I submit to you there are multiple ways that one can get schooled.
For sure.
Right, starting with the home. Right.
Right.
The first organization.
The first school
is
home.
At the crib.
Right. Absolutely. 100%.
And so doing some due diligence and inquiring about that as part of the hiring process to me is important.
Yeah.
To really get a grip on
Okay,
that.
you're an employer. What are 3 things you look at when you're trying to hire somebody? Maybe it could be more than 3. You're like, I got like a list.
Yeah. So more often than not, you're hiring against a specific hard skill, right?
Yeah.
There's a specific hard skill.
Yeah. Can you do this thing?
Can you do that thing? Check. Okay, I got 5 people in the candidate pool that can do this thing. After that, it becomes the intangibles.
Right.
The hustle component.
Right.
Going back to like the millennial thing just a little bit. My job, feeling bad is part of the human experience.
Yeah, man.
And it serves a purpose.
Yeah.
And so, I've been in scenarios where like my right-hand person will come back to me after I've had what I call, the difficult 5 minutes with a staff member.
Sure.
And I always preface those difficult 5 minutes by saying, at the other end of this, we're gonna hug it out and it's gonna be good.
Sure.
But I need to have these 5 minutes with you.
Yeah.
Because there's some critical information that is central to your success here.
Sure.
That I need to tell you.
Sure.
So we'll go through that, and then it'll be done, and I'll walk away, and I'm on to my next thing. And then sometimes, I've had it on more than one occasion. My number 2 will circle back and says, you know what the problem is? That person feels bad.
Sure.
And I go, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to feel bad.
Right.
And I work through that feeling bad.
Yeah.
And learn from that.
Yeah.
I am not here to make you not feel bad. I am here to deliver the information.
Isn't that interesting though? Because it's about like just confidence and everyone should just be being positive. But like, sometimes when you mess up, you feel bad, and it's in those moments where you grow and make better decisions.
Right.
Life's not happy.
Not always happy, and so on the generational piece, and I think I don't have the science behind it to prove this sort of like confidently, but this avoidance of feeling bad. Bad is part of the process. You're gonna have tough days. Yeah. You're gonna have tough moments. We're gonna have to have tough conversations.
Well, if you don't have bad days, then I don't know how you know what the good ones are. But
right.
But yeah, those help. Like those. That's how you move.
That's how you move.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I think anyone that signed up to do what you and I are do, and if you say, hey, is this just gonna be the do whatever you want dream that we all thought it was gonna be, when we first started, we'd just be like, no, the happiness comes in moments, right? It comes in moments, and you grasp them, and you're like, this is cool. And then sometimes it's like, man, it doesn't feel that great. And sometimes it feels great.
Right.
And that's the whole thing, though.
Right. That's the whole thing. And the whole, like, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
That works well on both sides.
Yeah, man.
Right. So even when things are good, you go,
this will pass.
But this will pass.
And those pass quick. I tell Beth, every time something good happens, I'm like, all right, wait for it. All right, wait for it. Because it's coming.
I'm gonna go bilingual for half a second in reaction to that.
Yeah,
because my family's Cuban.
Oh, okay.
My mom always says when there's an opportunity to have a good time, grab it, because, and this is the Spanish part, los mal tiempos no piden permiso. Translated means the bad times don't ask for permission.
Yeah.
Right? The bad times just show up. They don't care if it's inconvenient. They don't care if you're traveling. They don't care if you have your out of office on the email. The bad news, the bad stuff, they just show up.
Yeah.
So when you have an opportunity to have a good time, work with good clients, work with good partners.
Yeah, man.
Seize that and
let it and realize that you're having a good time.
And realize you're having a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know what tomorrow holds.
Yeah. I step outside sometimes at night, and I'm just gonna stand in this moment because it's good right now, and I'm just gonna hold on to this for just a little bit longer.
Just a little bit longer.
Do you feel like the generation that you're seeing right now is outspoken? Do you feel like for example, we got all these the mass shooting that happened in Parkland, and they did this huge. They went up to, where'd they go? DC? They marched in DC and they went up there. Do you feel like they're outspoken? Do you feel like they're going to get into politics? Do you feel like they're going to show up for a vote? Do you feel like it's going to be different than 2016? Or because it's always that generation that is kind of like,
Yeah. And so I think that,
Statistically,
again, I think that when you look at it statistically, you look at like the historical trends.
Yeah.
It's probably not that different, right?
Probably the same as
You're going to have like the subset that was, marching
Super,
on Wash,
and then some people are just
somebody like, okay, whatever. Let me know how it works out.
Do you think more people do you think more college age students are going to vote in 2020 than they did in 2016?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because
I think so too.
Yeah, because I think the polarized temperature brings people out.
Yeah. So you think all this, the impeachment thing, do you think they're paying attention? Do you think the impeachment thing is on the brain? It's ramping up, and people are kind of like, I gotta do my part. I gotta get the pen.
Yeah. And so that's just more stuff, right? I think that when you think about the turnout last time, in the 2016 election, it was people that were upset.
Yeah,
right.
Trump was able to gather a group of people that have kind of just been like forgotten and whatever, and he rallied that thing.
Yeah,
and he awakened the dragon.
Right, and so those that were chill and like, no, but things are pretty good right now.
Right,
didn't show up.
Yeah, because they were like, this will never. Because I remember when he, I think maybe like everybody, when he announced, everyone was like, ha. It's like kind of how you feel like when Kanye's like, yo, I'm running for president of 2020. You're like, yeah, man, cool, me too.
Right. And so I the conversations that I have, I'm no pollster or anything of that nature, but people are upset. And I think upset equals turnout. And so I think that you're going to see an uptick in turnout.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, that's
if Kanye was running for president, would you vote for him?
No.
No,
there's no hesitation there, and it's not even about his politics.
What is it about?
It's
oh man, that just made me laugh. This is a good one.
He's an artist.
Yeah,
right? That's his lane.
Yeah, you got that.
He got that.
You got that lane,
and I give him.
You're super good at that lane,
right? And when I say artist, I'm giving him credit for
all the art
of it,
that he does,
fashion stuff, the music stuff, and everything else. But I know enough to know that although his lane has like multiple lanes, pretty broad, and he can play in that sandbox. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I would be good at being like an astronaut. It's like, yo, I'm astronaut 2020. Like, I feel like I'm smart and I'm creative and I can get it, but I just don't know if I could go into that, industry and just be like, yeah, I got this.
No,
maybe I could. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there are savants that are born that are just like
that could just naturally
do X, Y, or Z. But
sure.
for most things, whatever it is.
Do you think the country would vote for him? Like, do you think him and Kim would be able to rally like everyone on Snapchat? And do you think they'd be like,
no? No, man. This is a country of over 300 million people,
and the country's still rather conservative, man. Like everyone, that's what I always think that's interesting, because maybe you're like me, but you and I, well, at least me, I live in like New York and South Florida and LA and maybe Chicago, Atlanta, but the rest of it,
right?
I mean, I'm flying over Iowa.
Yeah, well, it's who's America. When people say, especially if I'm talking to someone who's not from the United States, and they say, so how is it in America? And
right.
Who's America?
Right. Which one?
Right. Because
there's a few.
Right.
We got a few different ones.
Because if I'm from New Jersey, if I'm sitting in New Jersey and I'm thinking about it from that context, I have an answer, right?
Yeah.
When I'm in Miami, South Florida, I have a different answer. I used to live in California, a different answer, because it's different. This is the great experiment, the United States of America. It's an idea. I always repeat that it's not my language, but this is just a big idea, and it's a big experiment that we're working through.
It's very interesting, though, man. Have you heard his record? Have you heard the Sunday service? Have you seen Kanye doing this thing?
The Jesus thing.
Yeah, have you seen that?
No,
have you heard it?
I have not.
Okay.
I know it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I think his
I know it's a big deal. I know I haven't heard it.
I think it's his 9th #1 album or something like that.
Is it #1? Mark?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah?
It's hit #1 on the gospel.
Yeah.
What is it, on streaming or gospel? #1 gospel?
On gospel album, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, but not like #1 album, not like Billboard.
No, on the gospel charts.
Okay, on the gospel charts. Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't feel like that's hard to get. Is it?
I have no idea. I can't speak intelligently about the category. I cannot speak intelligently.
Do you feel like Fred Hammond and like Kurt Franklin are like, come on, man?
Come on, man. I don't know
Like-
if they feel that way, but I feel that way when I see
Just someone out of-
celebrities
Yeah.
write books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Knowing they ain't write it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and then you see like the ghostwriters just like,
Right. Or you got people that have been grinding on the writing game forever.
right.
Trying to get on that list, trying to get on that bestseller list.
It's weird. Yeah.
And
that's
then-
a real writer.
That's like a writer, right?
Right.
I studied writing. My life's work is writing.
Right.
And then somebody from some celebrity genre just like jumps into
And
the
takes
writing
that.
lane.
And it's like,
and
yeah,
is
I'll
like,
hire you. Do this. And then it's like, boom, Kim
Boom.
Kardashian's book is dope.
There's some, life
That's
is not
wild.
fair. Life is not fair. But
Life is
that
not
happens.
fair.
But that happens.
What's your what's your favorite thing to do Saturday night? What are you doing? You got nothing to do. You got no emails.
Yeah.
You got nothing. What are you doing?
I'm gonna date myself yet again.
Yeah.
Board games with my family.
Wow. Which ones?
Board games.
Which ones? If I don't get them,
Life.
okay, acceptable.
Life. Monopoly.
Thank you. I didn't know if it was number one. I was just wondering if it was going to be in the top 3. Board games with the fam.
Board games with the fam.
All right. And you got the 22-year-old. Any others?
I got
So you
22, 24, and 11.
Oh my God.
So the 11 is the one that's at home.
Oh my
right?
God.
Is the 11-year-old Alonso.
22, 24. What's that like? I got
Zoe.
a 10. I got a 10 and a 2.
Yeah.
What's 24 like?
24. So it's funny. I used to work with someone who used to say she was an HR person.
Yeah.
A little older than me, and she said, "Al, the job is get him to 25.
Get him
Get him to 25.
Just hold on.
And every time we were talk,
Just
she's
hold
like,
on.
She's like, you're one day closer. Gotta get him to 25.
Is it stressful? Do you want to like just pull your hair out?
Yeah, 25. Here's my parenting rant.
Yeah, give a parenting rant.
Right. How old are your kids?
I got 10 and 2.
10 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, you may be able to appreciate what I'm about to break down.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I got so much stuff to say.
I think that when babies are born,
Mm-hmm.
they produce in parents more love than that baby actually needs.
For sure.
The 10 toes, the 10 fingers.
For sure.
How they smell.
Yeah,
Everything. They're so
everything.
cute.
It's too
you
much.
love them so much. It's just too much. So what happens is you have more supply
Yeah.
of love
Then demand.
than demand.
You're there. That's why.
Right.
That's why kids are always like, "All right, mom."
So you create these barrels of love.
Yeah.
And you store them away.
Yeah.
You store them away.
So far, this is good.
What am I doing with all this love? I got this for this baby. I just love
Yeah.
this baby. Love this baby. Then the teenage years come,
Yeah.
right? And when the teenage years come, they start taxing you
Yes.
in a very serious way.
I can imagine.
I don't know a parent that has been able to sidestep those difficult teenage
Yeah,
years
you don't-
when they start trying you. When
You hear about all those parents that are like the terrible Tuesday. That was tough. And you have some parents like, "Oh, I didn't have that. Oh, I didn't do that." But every parent is like, "Yo,
no, those teenage years, and it's just, I guess, just the nature of the game. And so what winds up happening that when you're in the heart of those teenage years, you like
what's the heart? Like 15, 16?
yeah, those years, man. And you're
Oh,
like,
God
you're
in
like,
heaven.
like, how do I even love you still?
Yeah. How do I?
Child.
I want to just
Child of mine.
I just want to choke you and just lock you away.
Just like your way. But what winds up? So how do you love them anyway?
You got them barrels.
You got them barrels.
You stored up.
From back when they were just little and they smelled a certain way and they
Yeah, you
talked
remember
and
that.
the goo goo gaga.
Like,
and all
you
that
weren't
kind of
always
stuff.
an asshole.
But you weren't always.
Yeah, I remember.
Right. And what you hope is that as they start to move away from those teenage years,
Yeah.
and they start to appreciate
Yeah,
parents
they
again,
come back. You start building up, filling more barrels.
and you're like, you know what? You're still at net love.
exactly
Right.
Yeah.
I had to consume all those.
Yeah.
The reservoir of
gone.
love because you tried me.
You tried
in
me
those years
for years.
And my sons, I love them to death. They
But
know.
man,
They
they
know.
know.
They know they tried me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And
100%.
they tried. Their parents. They tried the people that love them.
It's interesting, man. It's a whole game. And then you throw running a business in the mix with having kids. It's like a whole thing because your business becomes one of your children and you're trying to manage both things. And it's like, it's interesting for people that are doing that. I love to hear their perspective on it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
interesting, man.
Yeah.
Watch out for the teenage years.
Watch out for the teenage years, but no one escapes it.
Yeah.
So socioeconomics, like we talked about different Americas.
Right.
Those are the kind of things that unite us all.
Yeah.
Like we
absolutely
all have to go.
I think that's always interesting because the country is very divided and everyone's trying to figure out what side is everybody on. But then you can get in conversations with people at the airport that are very just like that are just like common ground that remind everybody like, hey, like I have no idea what you believe in, but I know we both are going to agree on this.
100%.
Yeah, and the struggle is real for everyone in some way.
Isn't that crazy that the micro versus the macro?
Right.
If you only listen to the macro, you think, oh my God, we can never get on this same page in this country.
Ever.
Yet in the actual world, when you're dealing with human beings and the contact is right here, no matter where I go, I'm much more likely to find a pleasant conversation. I'm just even if we're from different parts of the country, different socioeconomics, different age categories, I'm just more likely to find a pleasant conversation because we immediately try to find those things that unite us.
People, I think normally people, when you sit down in a bar and you're getting to know someone, you don't really go for instantly like, oh, so who'd you vote for? You know what I mean? So I think you find other common ground throughout the relationship. And when you hear stuff like that, it almost gives you grace for, different, trying to really, but have like, people say this all the time. Liberals say this all the time. They're like the fact that when you're talking, especially when you're talking about like LGBTQ people, you're always saying like, our differences is what makes us better. As a positive thing.
Right.
But then when you hear that on, talking to a Republican, it's like, do our differences make us better? Is that what makes us America? Is that what makes us really cool, that we all do really think differently? And I think that's interesting. Because on one side, it's kind of like, yeah, I think it does. But if someone's like, do we really feel that way about everyone's different perspectives on stuff and the different views on things? Is it really our differences that make us how great we are?
Yeah, that's interesting. The digital versus real world dynamic. Just observing how human beings behave, to include myself as part of that study. When we are like we are right now, like physically in our space, if we detect a difference that we think is going to create acrimony between us, we organically try to sidestep that.
Right.
Organically.
Right. We're like, avoid.
Something about parenting that we don't agree on. Something about politics we don't agree on. And we like, the moment we identify that, we sort of like tend to...
Don't talk... the next time, just don't talk about blah, blah, blah with Bob.
And how is it that in social media, the opposite is true?
Yeah, it's like...
The moment we identify a difference...
Oh, really?
Trolling.
Meme. Cancel culture. You're done. Never again. Take all your assets. Boycott Popeyes. Never eating at Chick-fil-A again. Ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
The same human beings.
It's interesting.
And we see that play out in all sorts of ways in social media. Tough guys,
Yeah, that's such
How many people would talk smack to me?
Oh, my God.
On social media.
Oh, when
I'm like in their grill, like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, say that shit to my face. And then it's always like, yo, man, chill, bro. Hey, man, whoa, you crossing the line, man. I just, hey. That's interesting, man.
It's so crazy.
So if we all did this a bit more, maybe we would be at a better place. Like, just we could live with each other, and maybe people would be doing crazy things that they're doing, especially here in Florida.
Well, so again, the social media piece, and I don't know where it's all going to settle, and maybe it never will. It just continue to evolve, and new iterations will come of it. But there was a guy that I knew him because we were both fans of FIU college football.
Okay.
And so we'd see each other, and I'm talking about we're hugging and go FIU. It's such an emotional thing, right? Sports and fandom and everything else. Then I would see him on social media, and our politics just could not be more opposed.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I got love for this dude. I know he's a good dude.
Yeah.
But I just don't understand
this is good.
Why we're having divisive reactions.
How can someone I like so much and have so much fun with think the 100% opposite of what I think? Did that change how you thought? Did you still hang out?
I offered him. I said, let's go have a beer, man.
Yeah, because you had to talk it out.
Let's just go talk this out.
Did you find that it was a social media? He just saying stuff, or did he really believe this stuff?
Well, I wanted to give him space outside that context because I just felt that the social media context was agitating our capacity to really connect.
Right.
And so I said, let's get out of here. And let's go to a bar. Let's go have a beer.
And it kind of reignited
we had a wonderful conversation there. And I felt understood because that's what we're really seeking, right? We're seeking
to be understood. Right.
So he felt understood, and I walked away feeling really good about that moment. And sure enough, a couple of weeks later, a couple of social media encounters, it's a wrap.
Trump is awesome because I was just shooting a thing. I can't see what I was shooting for, but I was shooting a thing. And where are we at? DC? We drove somewhere. Mm-hmm. And we drove out, I don't even know where it was. We had to drive an hour and a half or somewhere. We're deep in the woods and like a shooting range on their property. Yeah. And so I'm just hearing conversations that are just like, no, Trump's awesome. I just really feel like I like the stuff he says. He's hilarious. And I'm just like, wow, man, like we're literally shooting for the opposite cause right now.
Right.
You know, and like, it's interesting that like, it's so interesting. Like you never know. Like, so you wonder if that conversation, you're getting a drink with him and and you feel understood. Is that real? Or is what he thinks, is the person that you know when he's sitting across from you, is that the real him? Or is the real him on social media? Or is it both him?
Right. Do we have dual identities?
Yeah. Is it okay to be like, yo, you are sports friend Hank, and we're cool, but but I cannot, like, you are not like compartmentalize like friendships, and you're cool for going out sports. You're cool for, I don't know. Maybe that's it.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I'm hoping that soon the macro environment will at least be filled with messages that say, we should try to connect more. Right. That it's not okay. Yeah. To be so polarized. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to just to understand a day that macro environment from on high tells us,
Well, one thing that I thought a lot of people agreed with before was like the Golden State Warriors. Everyone loved them, and I'll have to admit, I had those like hater blockers on because I was not a Steph Curry fan.
Not a Steph Curry fan.
Okay.
And therefore the whole Golden State Warriors.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like the Kevin Durant thing. I didn't like any of it. I just didn't like it. Okay. I felt like I don't know. I just didn't like it.
All right. Kevin Durant, LeBron James. Can we have that conversation?
Right now. Yeah.
So Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
No love.
Yeah, for you.
He gets no love from me.
He gets no love from me.
I recognize the game.
That's so cool that you feel that way, because I feel the same way. Where did he lose you? I know the exact moment where he lost me.
When he split on Oklahoma City.
When he split on Oklahoma.
To join?
Yes, to join the Warriors.
Who was already a champion.
He hooped, and he got them to a Game 7, which he did not really participate in. And then he was like, who just beat us? I'll go join them. That was like strike one with me. And I was like, yo, man, I can't get down with this guy. Second time that I lost love for Kevin Durant is when he made other Twitter accounts to bash people that were saying bad things about Kevin Durant. I was like, yo, man, that is some, right?
Yeah, that was just hilarious.
That is when I was like, yo, I'm like, I can't. And then finally, I didn't like, I felt like what he did on the Warriors, I don't know. I just like didn't like, I don't feel like here's what I'll say. Kevin Durant has never won a championship in my mind. Ever. Oof. He got gifted 2 of them. Yeah. And he has not won. If he does it on the Nets, which I doubt, he'll have a championship.
He'll have a championship. Those who counter will counter.
Of course. Of course.
I don't. Was he the MVP in both? I don't know.
Yes, but I like whatever.
Yeah. And so my whole thing is it's an attack on team.
Yeah.
He's so individual.
He's
so individual.
It was the Oklahoma City thing, and everyone was kind of hating on Russ, and I thought Russell Westbrook really handled that well, and he just took over. Yeah. And he still would have probably been with Oklahoma City if that whole trade thing didn't happen. So who's your team right now?
I roll with the Heat.
Okay, you're Miami. That's like Mark.
Yeah, I roll with the Heat. I roll with the Heat. But here's a difference, because we brought up LeBron and we haven't talked about it.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
And I get in trouble with this because then people try to push back with the Kevin Durant argument.
Okay.
So LeBron came here for 4 years.
Yeah.
The Heat were in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
They won 2
out
of 4.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's 30 NBA teams.
Yes.
So that means there were 29 other teams that wish they had the Heat's problem.
100%.
Okay. And when he went back to Cleveland, I felt that hurt.
Same.
I felt the rejection.
Yeah, but it made sense.
I'm not questioning why he did it.
Sure.
So he left, but I was not of the let's start burning the jerseys.
Yeah, that's not me. No.
And start hating on LeBron.
Right.
Because as you know, down here in South Florida, people
be crazy. People
mind.
Be crazy here.
And so, as you know, I grew up in Jersey, so I was a Yankee fan.
Okay.
And the maturation of the fan bases. I'm gonna get killed for this, but that's fine. That was the first time.
Bring it.
Yeah. Listen, the maturation of the fan base. If you helped the New York Yankees win a World Series, And the next season you're in a different uniform and you come back to Yankee Stadium,
right,
they're going to applaud you the first time you come back at bat. As a recognition
of what you did.
You helped us
of
win
what
here,
you did, right.
And that matters.
Right.
I feel the same way about LeBron James.
Yeah.
Like when he comes to town, I'm like, I am so happy.
Yeah.
That when you went to go explore and you had 30 teams to choose from, you chose this one.
I thought what he had with Dwayne Wade was like really special. And everyone could see that like beyond basketball. So you kind of wanted them to just, like when D Wade went to Cleveland for that year, you're kind of like, yeah, like, you know, like, I don't know. I felt that. So I'm big. Here's what I like about LeBron. LeBron went to Cleveland and he had 0 people on his team and he took him to the finals like every year.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant could never do that.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant could never take a team of just Josh and Mark, you know, and take us to the finals. Like,
Alberto at the point.
Like never. So I really like that. But LeBron, I'm watching the Lakers. That's my squad.
Yeah.
I'm like watching that like a hawk, and it's been super, super fun.
Well, but because and I know that LeBron is part of this. This is where my argument has holes in it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a team guy.
Yeah.
And like the NBA has just walked away from the team concept.
Oh,
and it's about individuals.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing.
And so because I'm historically a team guy, the Heat are my team, so I roll with them.
Right.
But I find myself being fans of individuals.
Yeah.
Which is a very NBA thing.
Right. That's an NBA thing now.
And I find myself, I'm rolling with the Lakers because of LeBron. Like, don't get it twisted, right? I'm not a Laker guy. I'm a Heat guy.
Well, I don't wish any ill or hurt on anyone, but I just love that the Golden State Warriors are losing. It just is just a good time for me.
I love the way you disclaimed the like.
I'm not one of those guys who's like, yeah, I'm glad you broke your hand. You deserve it. I wish it was your shooting hand. Like, no, not like that. But just like, I honestly wish Curry was still playing and just losing. Just, I think that would hurt worse.
I agree.
Now he has a good excuse. Like, I wasn't there. It was a bad season. I wasn't playing.
Oh my god! Well, because I look at the social media about sports, and the big talk is Kawhi.
Yes.
Over LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, are we there now?
Yeah, I just feel like people. I just feel like it's it's whatever the new hot thing is. Like, I'm not all in the Kawhi bandwagon. I feel like they won, but they beat a rusty old Golden State. The wheels are falling off. And it was kind of like, if you didn't beat them, man, they still beat you, and they were like in that condition. So I feel like the Raptors at that point had to win. So I don't really see the.
Yeah.
I feel like Kawhi's like cool, but I feel like he's like Spurs basketball good.
Yeah.
From a standpoint of like he's, I don't know, he's obviously not a flashy guy, and I'm not saying that, but I don't feel like I'm almost a little more nervous about Paul George on that team than I am Kawhi Leonard.
Well, and on the LeBron side, the physical skills.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
What he is packing skill wise inside that frame.
Come on.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
And the longevity.
Yeah.
What are we, year 17?
And he's doing it.
And he's still doing it.
And he's doing it.
And people just they want to point to something that says he's falling off, yet he won't let you.
Yeah,
because he comes with triple doubles on the ready.
And if we're business guys, if I'm a business guy, like come on, let me own the Lakers. Let me have it. Let me have that.
Yeah,
that would be the one.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do rapid fire with you. I got a couple questions. You just answer these. You answer these quickly. Here's some rapid fire questions for Alberto. Okay, here we go. East Coast, West Coast.
East Coast.
All right, so you're sticking with that. You've seen the West Coast.
I lived in the West Coast, and I love the West Coast.
Where'd you live in the West Coast?
Northern California. When I was in the Air Force.
Yeah. Golden State. Okay. Okay, Lakers, Clippers.
Lakers.
Good answer. This is a good one. Kanye West or Kirk Franklin? How did he even get it? I feel like that's an insult. Does Kirk Franklin even do records?
He actually he does.
But I mean, like, he's always been a glorified hype man.
But his records are like still selling.
But he's always been a hype man.
He is a hype man
of gospel.
But I'm gonna go Kirk.
You going Kirk?
You know why?
What's that?
Because I feel like he's rolling with God from end to end.
For sure.
Kanye could dip on God tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. He could be like, me and Big Sean are going to do a record
now.
He's
there now, and I'm happy he's there now. But he could like flip tomorrow.
I'm just wondering what he's going to do.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Okay, here we go. Oh, boy. Okay, window or aisle seat?
Window.
Okay. I wasn't expecting you to be a window guy.
You know why?
Why, you're sleeping?
Because I'm sleeping, and I don't have to get up to use the restroom.
Oh, so you're good.
So I'm good.
You're good.
So for me to like pass out and have, excuse me.
I can't be trapped. I just can't be trapped in there. Like, I need freedom. I need to be able to.
Yeah.
What's your airline of choice?
JetBlue.
Yes.
JetBlue.
JetBlue is glorious.
They figured something
out. Worst airline.
Delta.
Delta? Yikes! I haven't heard that one before.
You know, it stands for "Don't Ever Leave the Airport."
Wow, I've never heard that
You
before.
know that?
No,
Delta,
no.
Don't ever leave the airport.
Delta.
If you fly Delta out of South Florida, you always gotta go to Atlanta, no matter where you're
That
going.
is true. I can't deal with that.
Right?
I can't deal
Like,
with that.
If you try to catch Delta to go to Orlando, you still gotta go to Orlando.
Yeah, you're going to Chicago to come back to Orlando. You're going to Atlanta, come back to here. Yeah. No, I can't deal. That's interesting,
Yeah,
man. Okay, let's see. See what else is on my list. Okay, here we go. Last lightning round. Okay, all right. You got to eat fast food. Which chain are you eating of the bigs? What's the best fast food restaurant you got?
Mickey D's.
Good.
Mickey D's just has a nostalgia.
It is.
Puts me in a happy place.
That's
Puts
good.
me in a fat place, but
Yeah.
if that's not what I'm seeking, I'm just seeking just that nostalgia.
It's interesting now
fast
because
food.
when we were growing up as kids, it was like McDonald's was like the thing. Like if you guys are on your
Was-
best behavior,
What's the thing?
I'm going to take you to McDonald's.
You know, it was like McDonald's, Burger King, Michael Jackson, Prince. Like these are. It was a very set
Absolutely.
of binary choices.
Absolutely.
And
that was the thing.
I rolled with the golden arches.
Man, well, thanks so much for coming to hang out with us. I love you
This was
just
great.
dropping some knowledge, man. I appreciate that. So tell everyone where to follow Stinghouse. I want everyone to kind of check you guys out, what you guys are doing. You guys are a fabulous agency, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you working with us. You've been a great partner.
Yeah, it's honestly been one of the coolest parts because we don't you don't get to work with other agencies a lot, and then there's so much competition in the space. But like you're a really good example of just like, yo, man, this does work. People work together. This does work, and I feel like. You know, no one knows what we're working on, but I really feel good about the project that we're making, and it's cool because it's been a really cool collaboration from both sides, man.
But it's the soft skill stuff that we said earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so can you do this? Can you produce this
Right.
stuff? Do you have the cameras and
Right.
the microphones and
Right.
the lighting?
Exactly.
Check.
Right.
Now everything else that makes a relationship
Yes.
sticky is
Yes.
the soft skill stuff, the chemistry
Yes.
stuff, the ability, to hustle together, have those same aligned values. That's what we have here. Stinghouse.com. From there, you can find us on all the
Yes.
platforms.
Get on
and
it.
Check it out.
Yo, this is Alberto this is Uncreative Radio. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you for having me.